I'm sure you've been asked this many, many times. I've never heard the answer though. Are you a Broadway guy that wanted to go into pop, or are you a pop person who got the Broadway opportunity?
I would say that my first thing that I started with professionally was Broadway. So Broadway was kind of the foundation for me. However, growing up, I was training in commercial dancing and piano and instruments, and I was kind of in the pop world. But Broadway was my very first thing that I ever did, because I also trained in theater from a really young age. So that is a tricky question to answer like right on. But I would probably say it was Broadway that kind of formed me and everything. But then I always had a love for the pop world and the music industry and the acting industry. So I kind of just blended out into it after Broadway.
Was this always the direction that you were hoping to head in with your pop career? For example, were you ever a metal guy?
Yeah. So definitely I always was inspired by like the pop world and the music that I'm doing right now. I've always been a big fan of Quincy Jones and Justin Timberlake and Timbaland, but I've also I listen to so many different styles of music. I listen to Chopin, nocturnes, Beethoven. I do listen to metal as well. I listen to a lot of rock, so punk. I listen to reggae. I'm kind of all over with it, but that's what inspires me with my music, and I try to incorporate that into my pop music, which is what I think is kind of more or less the sound that I'm doing, which is not one specific sound. It has an organic vibe to it and just different things to it. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of all over it, but definitely the pop world is what I'm in.
That's a very interesting answer you just gave
Yeah.
me. Do you see yourself long term as maybe you have a country phase, maybe you have a punk phase, or are you not thinking that
Yeah.
far ahead?
No, that's really cool you said that. I think what I really want to do with my music is this is kind of what I said in the last question, is I don't want to just stick with one particular sound in general. I want to be open with it. I want to reach, maybe do a little bit of a pop reggae vibe, and then maybe do a little bit of pop country. I want to reach it all because I am a musician at heart. I'm a classical pianist. I play guitar. I play the drums. It would never just be a fake thing for me to just do, pop classical or this. Like I can do it, and I love that about music, that there's so many different things to it, and I kind of just want to. I just love music in general, so I want to try and just do everything. So maybe eventually I will kind of branch out.
I didn't realize, though, something you said before, that the music video was filmed during the pandemic. That is probably the first music video that I've seen during the pandemic that wasn't four squares of Zoom people
Right.
looking at each other.
Yeah.
So I have to commend your creativity with that. Are you
Thank you.
already thinking about another video, or was that just too much work as it is?
Oh no, we're constantly thinking ahead, and we have lots and lots of content that we have, and we even we already shot the acoustic version of Sweat, so we're always trying to think ahead and keep pushing forward. And I mean, what's nice about it is that I really love what I do, so it's never considered work to me.
Was there ever a point in your life where it didn't look like it was going to pan out with entertainment, because you got that early start? Then a lot of people have that kind of awkward between phase, between like, you're really good at 12, but you're not so cute when you're 14 or 15. And kind of bleak, and they take a little hiatus. Did that happen for you at all?
Yeah. You know what, it did. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't too long either. But there was a little bit of that kind of like iffy stage. It was like, okay, where do we want to go here? But I did know 100% that I wanted to be in the entertainment industry. But it was just more or less about, okay, what's the path and what's the right direction for this? Because there's so many different ways that you can go. And so I would say after Billy, I was lucky enough. I gotten right into the Disney TV show, The Next Step, for 6 seasons, and I toured with them, and that was all the way up till about 16, 17. Then I started really putting out some of my own music, but it was right about then there was some time when I was like doing my own music, and I stopped The Next Step, and I was kind of like, okay, where are we going with this? What's the vibe? And then everything kind of just falls in place. And I'm a big believer in fate, and everything happens for a reason, and so everything kind of just went where it needed to go. So I kind of just trusted the process.
Yeah, some of the career idols that you mentioned before, Justin Timberlake, Quincy Jones, these are people who survived all the phases and never stopped working.
That's
so
right.
I guess those are pretty good role models to have. But did you ever have any embarrassing musical phases?
Embarrassing musical phases. Yes and no. I mean, when I first started producing music, I think I started right when I was finishing Billy, at 14. I was not very good at it. I was not very good at producing. It was pretty bad stuff, and I hope it never gets released. That's for sure. But you have to start somewhere with it, and you just, I had lots of times where I was like, I give up. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. Like, this is so bad. But I loved what I did, and I just always kept going back to it. And you just have to keep that mind going. There's always going to be road bumps, and there's always going to be times when you're told a no, or you're told this. You just have to keep pushing forward and keep going until you make it happen. So that's what I did with the music and the producing. I just kept going and going and going, and then finally things just started getting better, and people started saying, "Hey, this is pretty good. You're doing pretty good." So just kind of it's a process. Yeah.
I'm just hearing positivity over and over and over again.
That's the thing. Yeah, positivity. I try. That's so important. It's like, I hate the word negativity. Like, I don't even want to hear that. I'm always about positivity, and it's so important to be positive in whatever you're doing.
Yeah, a lot of people who are creative right now are kind of bummed because they're not able to create the way that they did before the pandemic. Again,
Exactly.
you got a single and a music video which you made during the pandemic. You're thinking ahead to the future and all that. Is there anything that is concrete that you can talk about for 2021? And it's totally normal if the answer is no.
Yeah. No, I mean, here's the thing: is like, with what I do in my industry and everything, in 2 months from now, I could book a crazy big project that could happen. So everything is so kind of like, oh, tomorrow I might find out I need to go here and I need to do this. So it's always kind of like fast minute, let's go. But I can definitely say that this year, actually, at the end of the year, December 18th, I do have my first big feature film coming out, West Side Story. And that's going to be leading into 2021. So that's going to be a big, I think, a really big thing for me that I'm super, super excited about. I'm super grateful for. So that's going to be a big thing that we're going to be focusing on, but definitely a lot of music. And we have a potential album EP that we might be dropping before the movie, and that might lead into the next year as well. And then just more and more music, more content, and just continuing to do what I love, which is just stay in this industry.
Most people with Broadway credits don't make it into feature films. It's obviously a different kind of acting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Different presence that you have to have and all that. So it's wonderful to see you transition like that.
Thank you.
What was your first credit off the stage, though? It wasn't the Disney show, though, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I had done several commercials and stuff growing up before I booked Billy Elliot the musical. So I had done some TV work, nothing too big, just a few, national commercials here and there. But out of Billy, the first kind of big contract into TV and film was The Next Step. So it was kind of like right out of it, and kind of just jumped right in the gate there, which I'm really grateful for, because, as you said, it is difficult for Broadway transition into TV and film. It's a different world, theater and Broadway. You're performing like this, in TV and film, you're performing right here. And so it's very, very different type of acting. But I'm really grateful that I just kind of transitioned right into it.
And overall, is there anything that you wish more people knew about you? I ask that because you speak to some musicians or actors and they say, well, yeah, I own a sports bar. You should come to it. Or I've got this foundation. Sounds like you're working too much to the point between that and the exercise that you don't need a side hustle. But is there anything else that you do outside of your career?
Honestly, man, outside of my career, I live life. I love my family. I'm a big family guy. I'm a big foodie. I love food, and I love cooking. So if that's something that maybe people don't know about me, is that I absolutely love cooking. But honestly, man, outside of the industry, I really love what I do. Like, this is a full-time thing for me. It's not a hobby. It's not a side thing. Like, and it's everything. It's the acting, it's the music, it's producing, it's mixing, it's writing songs, it's working out. It's all of that. And there's not really any crazy little side things that I do, really. So.
Well, 3 quick questions, then you're free. First, best TV or movie discovery as a result of being quarantined?
Ooh, good one. This is hard, but probably series Vikings I got into during quarantine that I hadn't got into, and I'm so glad I got into that show. Absolutely crazy. So I'm gonna have to go with Vikings.
Okay. Number 2, aside from your own, what is the last concert you went to before this all happened?
Oh, good one. So it actually was a little while ago. I always wish I go to more concerts, but the last concert I went to, my girlfriend had brought me to Guns N' Roses at the Rogers Center in Toronto. I'm a huge rock fan, and so I got to see Guns N' Roses. That was the last concert I saw. Oh my God, it was epic.
The man has taste. So in closing, any last words for the kids?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you and show so much love to all my fans and everyone that's been supporting me and supporting my music to this day. And for the new fans that are coming on now, I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody. And I'm really excited for the future and for more music to come out. And I want to thank you for taking the time.
Oh, thank you for an excellent interview. Congratulations in advance on everything you got going, and hope to see you live eventually in New York. You haven't performed here in a while, so that'd be a great thing to see.
100%. I really appreciate it, man. Take care.
Paltrocast.